Hey, she wants to watch. She's in the other room too.
I love it. I love it. And we are live,
Oh,
guys. We are live with another episode of the Blue Crocus Experience. And I'm joined today by Andrew Thompson out of LA. Looking forward to
Andrew.
jumping on here. We've got some viewers already, which is cool because I think you tossed this out to your following there. So Andrew, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, my man? Lewis. How you
Excited to
doing?
have you. Excited to have you. So obviously we were just chatting. We're like almost the furthest places away from each other on the North American continent that we could be.
Right.
But just introduce yourself, Andrew, and give people a little bit of a background, and we'll dive into the backstory a little bit too as we get into this.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to say one thing though. When I was first looking up junk removal, it was a JRA video. He did a PowerPoint presentation on how to build $1 million business. It was from Lee Godbold. And
Yep.
then I ran into your
No way.
PowerPoint presentation where I think you were talking about integrity junk removal and all. So you were one of the first people, besides like Ricardo and Sonoma, you
Yep.
were one of the first presentations I watched. So it's kind of crazy like talking to you now. But
I appreciate it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I thought that was kind of cool.
That
What's
is
up,
cool.
guys? My name's Andrew. I am a junk removal business owner now. Turned a junk removal business owner because COVID shit all over my app idea. I was building a travel app that was intended to help people and friends travel together across to different countries and whatnot. So you couldn't even hang out with your friends back then, right? And especially travel. So that's what switched me over to junk removal, and we'll get into that how exactly later. But yeah, so I've been a software engineer my entire life. I started programming when I was 10 years old. Started with assembly. Actually, I technically started on the TI-83 calculators, little programming. You can make little games on the TI-83 calculator. Started with that, which is a version of BASIC. And yeah, so it's kind of crazy that I am doing junk removal. It's almost like it's mind blowing to me because I could have got a software engineering job, but I didn't want to.
So that's interesting. I was going to ask what was kind of your career before this. So when you say you
So
could have but you didn't.
okay, so where do I start? Oh, man, I'm 35 now, so let's rewind real quick. Let's go all the way back in history. I dropped out of high school when I was 17 because I saw my future on the internet. I was already making money off Google Ads. I
Mhm.
absolutely despised school. I never did
Like
anything.
you were running ads yourself.
Yeah, I was running.
Yep.
No, I had websites and I had AdSense ads.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I was having traffic to my website and I was getting clicks on my Google AdSense ads, and I was making 50 to 200 bucks a day. And I was even doing illegal stuff like changing the type of ads that were showing up. This is way back. We're talking 2000s, right? Like 2003. So I would change the ads, put hidden text on the web page and all kinds of crazy shit.
All the black hat
So
SEO stuff that just doesn't fly now.
so yeah, I dropped out and and I've just been programming ever since. And I totally just lost my train of thought. What was your question?
You mentioned about not going into a career.
Oh, yeah. So I've been programming for myself. So I've always been building my own projects. And I got very lucky early. 17 years old, I built the first ever MySpace profile editor, MySpaceSupport.com. I don't know if you remember glitter graphics and MySpace and editors. I was the first editor where you can like drag and drop and change your profile
Oh,
background
cool.
color and all that stuff. And this was back when MySpace was popping in like 2000 and
We're talking to a
I
man of
built the
history
first
here. That
editor
was
in 2005, 2004, 2005. And that brought me so much traffic because people would copy and paste the codes and put it on their MySpace profile. And then it'd have a little link in their bio, a little button at the top. And I was getting millions of visits a day. So from age 17, my first paycheck was 180 grand. Um, so I made $2.5 million before, like by the time I was 18 years old, just from that MySpace site. So I've kind of just been doing tech my entire life, and I've never actually programmed for anybody else until we'll get into that later. But I had my first programming job for somebody else just before the junk removal business. Um,
so
so
did you
yeah,
have any formal programming experience, or you just tried and
no,
failed and figured out like
yep,
most people do anyway,
just
even with the formal
I,
experience?
yeah, I was literally just on the computer ever since a little kid, just hooked. And then AOL 3.0 came out, and there was this keyword tool, and you could type in PP2, and it would teach you HTML and how to make your own members.aol page. And I started building websites, and then it just evolved, and people would keep complimenting me like, Andrew's the computer nerd. And it reinforced that, like, hey, I'm this smart computer guy. And, I got into Iowa. So I just programmed from there. I've done every programming language: C, C Sharp, C++, game development. I mean, I've done it all. I've been a programmer my entire life.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, Jeff's anyone who's listening, drop any questions or comments too as you go. Jeff's jumping in saying the interview is going to be fire. Appreciate the support. And so he said 2 engineers talking junk removal. My
Oh,
background
are
is
you an engineer too?
mechanical engineering background.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, you got a little leg up on me. I'm just I just know code, but
Well, I would have said the opposite, right? Because I did a little
yeah,
bit of mechatronics, and that's a world that I certainly do not play well in. So, respect to you on that. But
yeah. I appreciate it.
so talk about the job that you had. It sounds like there's a story there. The job right before this where you did work for someone else.
So my last startup that I was working on with a business partner of mine, we were building a fitness app. We
Mhm.
actually got on Planet of the Apps, Apple's first ever TV show before they launched Apple TV. We were one of the contestants, and there was Gary Vaynerchuk, Jessica Alba. There's a whole four, and Will I Am, 4 or 5 people that you get to choose as your mentor. We chose Jessica Alba. And anyways, the Apple TV show tanked, Planet of the Apps. You can look it up later.
It's an incredible
It's
name.
crazy. So we raised $1.8 million from 11 different angel investors. So none of it was VC money for venture capital. And we built this company, me and my business partner at the time, Stephen Mata, and we built an awesome product, which I thought was awesome. And ultimately, learned lots of learning lessons. Not every startup makes it. Our fitness app at the end of the day didn't make it for a multitude of reasons we can get into, but we don't need to. So after that company failed and I had to figure out what to do, I decided to take a freelance
What
gig.
time was this?
This was in 2008. So 2017, I think, right? The beginning of 2019 is when I decided to, okay, evolve. The fitness app is done. I got to figure a new path. That's
Okay.
where I decided to do the travel app. But in the meantime, I needed to make some money. So I picked up a freelance programming gig. I've been aggressively doing iOS development for like the last 6 years, right? Just iOS only. I don't do websites anymore. No JavaScript.
So did you build apps and just sell them yourself?
Yeah, so we were building an iOS app, Evolve. Then I got a freelance gig after Evolve because I needed to figure something out. I was like, shit, the startup just failed. So I picked up a freelance gig building an app for somebody else. It was a truth or what was it? It was called Dare, and he wanted to do this really cool thing where people can do dares and film it. Very similar to that movie. I forget what it's called, but there was a movie where like you can earn money or points by doing crazy dares. And yeah, so that was my first job I've ever had. Technically, actually, no, I did work I did work at a computer store when I was 15 for like 1 month, and I said fuck this and I quit. And I was like, I'm never doing this again. But that was my first real job, like my actual job where I had to like do something for a client.
How did that
Freelancing.
go? Was it awful?
I absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
I only like working for myself. My first company I ever built was in 5th grade. I took a little piece of paper and I wrote Flaming Gold on it because that's what the company name was. And I'd sell people like maps that I drew. I'd just take the sodas that my mom gave me, bring them to school and sell them.
So Flaming
So
Gold
I've
was just
always
an
just been,
umbrella
I guess,
company for anything you could think of.
what's that?
Flaming Gold was just an umbrella company for
Yeah, I
anything
was
you
in
could
fifth
think of.
grade at the time, and that was my first company ever. And I'd sell pens and little shooter pens. We'd make little pens, those big pens, cut them so that when you pop the back, it would shoot out.
Yep.
Teachers hated me. I got yo-yos banned in the school. I got yo-yos banned in my elementary school. I got the shooter pens obviously banned. So working for somebody else was very tough for me, very tough.
Yep.
So, and I will never be able to do it
I
again.
used
I
to
did it
we
because
used
I
to
had
build
to.
smoke bomb rockets out behind our school and set them off at break time, and then
Yeah, see
the
that's
teachers would be
pretty
like,
gnarly.
What's going on?" I love it. I love it. Okay, so you finish up that job, and then that brings us to junk removal, or is it the
Yeah,
travel app next?
so there's there's quite a few things in between, but I would spend a whole hour there. But it goes from MySpace, and then after MySpace, I got into Bitcoin. I'll just backtrack really quick. I got into Bitcoin prior. to Silk Road. If anybody who knows anything about crypto and really was in the Bitcoin community, they'll know what the Silk Road thing is. I got into Bitcoin when it was $10. I made $3 million from Bitcoin. And then I was young. Remember, I was young. So I kind of just went through this money, spent it, didn't invest it wisely. But I got into Bitcoin. I started trading Bitcoin. I started learning the blockchain technology. That was after MySpace. Then we did Evolve, which is the one I raised money for. And then after Evolve, I did the freelancing job. And then after freelancing, COVID hit, right? COVID was 2020 of March. And I think I technically got fired with good reason. Quit from the freelancing job because I wasn't being good with my word, like I was miserable coding somebody else's app because I wanted to work on Gypsy. So then I worked on Gypsy, which was my travel app idea. And I raised $150,000 February of 2020 for Gypsy, which is the travel app I was telling you about. And I tried to make that work through the pandemic, and I was like, hey, got investors. The pandemic's got to go away at some point. 3 months later, they're like, okay, what's going on? I was like, I don't know. It came to the point of like, okay, I burned through the $150,000 building Gypsy, trying to build a team, waiting for the pandemic to go over. I'm paying payroll myself, basically, just burning through the investor money, payrolling myself and everybody else. And it got to the point where it was 1 year. And I was just like, dude, the investors hit me up. I was like, I don't fucking know. Okay. Pandemic's clearly never going away. So at that point, I was at I was definitely I've had some very all-time lows, but that was a very, very, I have 2 kids and we just had a newborn baby. So I had a 1-year-old at that point, and I was burnt through the entire $150,000. We were living off Corona checks, which I fucking hate taking government money, but I had to. And it was at a point where it was miserable. And
You had no option.
I don't want to program for somebody else. I can't do that again, but I will if I have to. I was like, there has to be another solution. I started talking to one of my friends, and he was doing junk removal 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And I remember scoffing, just being like, junk removal, because I was a tech guy. I was like, I was a much different person back then, probably a lot more judgy, not, like I'm going to be the rich tech millionaire guy. And I judged him. I was like, you pick up, I mean, I didn't judge him, but I was a little judgy. I was like, really?
Rib him a little bit.
Yeah. Cause I had a company with 10 employees. I raised 1.8. I was the big shot, and he was telling me, yo, junk removal, I'm making $40,000 cash every month, and I'm not, it's like cash. And he was always like, you're just burning through cash. You're not making money yet. But anyways, he did really well with junk removal, and he always wanted me to be a part of it. And I'm so sorry. Let me mute my noises really quick so I don't get distracted.
No problem. We've got to all engage in the chat here a little bit. Joseph Martinez has jumped in with Vets All Junk. Jeff's asked a good question, which we'll get to later in the conversation. John also asked about your thoughts on ChatGPT. We'll circle back on that a bit too. But
yeah, for sure. Ask the questions. I'll finish this part up and just ask away. So, where was I? I was on an all-time low, and I was talking to my friend, and he wanted to do a junk removal business together with me. He wanted me to run the ads, do the tech, build the websites, bring the leads, handle the phones, and he would be on the truck until we get enough momentum going to where we can get off the truck. And that was the agreement. It ended up, long story short, don't want to get into details about that one, but it didn't work out with him and I. We're still friends, but the business partnership, it didn't match. So
teaser, the answer for that question is on your YouTube channel. So people go over to Andrew's YouTube channel and listen to a few videos. He tells you why over there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I do. So I ended up doing the junk removal company myself. Started it, I want to say August of last year is when I registered it. And then I did all the prep work for a month, built the website, set up Google Maps, bought some fake reviews, just built the image, ordered the shirts, got the credit card machine, set up the bank account, got the ads ready, got my Craigslist ads ready so that I could just like go all in, and I decided to do junk removal because he was like, dude, you can make $1,000 a day. And I was like, $1,000 a day? Fuck, I could use $1,000 right now. Rent is literally right around the corner. The state of California is not going to keep paying my rent forever. And I had like a month or two left, and I was government funding was cut, right?
Yeah.
They were cutting ties, like, so I had to get back into the real world. I couldn't. Gypsy was done. So that's when I was like, okay, I have to figure out how to get this to work. So I Googled the crap out of junk removal. You know, I did all the prep work, but I Googled I watched 100 videos. I watched every Sonoma Strong video, every single one, probably every single one. I watched a lot of Junk Guys videos and Steve Conroy, and with Lugaway, Sonoma, and that JRA PowerPoint presentation really motivated me because Lee Godbold showed you kind of the light at the end of the tunnel of how to get to $1 million. He's like, you got to do this, 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 and this, and you get to $1 million revenue. And then I came across your PowerPoint presentation. And I know I'm a tech guy. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do this business and be able to pay my rent and my bills and take care of my kids if I go around hanging door flyers and doing traditional marketing. It's just not going to happen. I was like, I have to make Google ads work now, like period. Right. Because rent's expensive in LA. So that was what got me into junk removal. It was my friend, and that's kind of the start of where the junk removal thing began. It did very well, and here I am now. You know, I'm still rocking and rolling.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. That's quite a journey, and I have a couple questions. Like, obviously, I haven't handled the money that you've handled. Though my goal is to handle money of that nature through our business, and I want to know, having been there, because a lot of people starting out, they're starting from a place of desperation. You kind of did that too with your business, but you've been in the place where you've had money coming in. How does that
Right.
affect your risk taking as you go into like a new venture?
So the money, the millions that I made before, I was very young, right? I was 17. I don't have a father figure. I was very foolish with my money. I blew everything, right?
Yep.
So, and then the next 3 million I made, that's when I moved to California, and California, I moved to Hollywood. We'll just leave it at that. So I was very foolish. So I did not make the proper decisions with that money. I did not invest. I did try to do a couple startups on the side. I tried to do a car company on the side. I did make a couple investments, but it was into my own ideas. I didn't
Yep.
do any proper investments at all. Didn't buy any freaking. I bought one house, but I lost it. So I'm super bummed. Obviously I'm 35 now, and then the Evolve business 1.8, that was investor money that went into the company. So this was kind of a clean slate starting over. So going into junk removal with the money I'm making now, absolutely, like, I'm going to be making different decisions, 100%. But
Does it
I
give you
have
the
it on the
confidence
block.
and kind of what's the word that I'm looking for? But a mentality that, like, there's so much opportunity out there that I can just go get. Does
Right.
that shape your decision making?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, making all that money, and I think I've always just had a positive outlook that I'm gonna make millions, like
Yep.
100%. It's not even, I don't even question it. I just know. It's more so like, what is the path to get there? And I really am, it took me quite a while to figure out what the path is. Like, it was gypsy for a while, but now I have like a clear path. Like, I have an absolute clear path from discovering the home services industry, which is something I'm going to start really talking about on my YouTube channel, like moving,
So
house cleaning,
starting a cleaning business.
starting a cleaning business, starting a junk removal business, anything that doesn't require like a license, like plumbing or electrical, some sort of home services business, is for a lot of people who don't want to get into the digital, like FBA and stuff like that, because I didn't want to sit in front of a computer and like find products in
Yeah.
Alibaba and like
Yeah.
Amazon FBA, and then real estate wholesaling just wasn't my cup of tea. I feel like home services is a very safe, predictable path to revenue that you can take that money and then do whatever else you want to do. And I have, as you've heard on my YouTube channel, I am going to go back to tech and destroy WorkEase and House Call Pro.
Yep.
So
That leads to Jeff's question. So Jeff's question is, what is the long game? I sense a larger move. Is junk removal the beta data for developing a software tool? And I think that
junk removal so junk removal started as as money, because I needed money to survive. Then I was like, holy shit, it's doing well. This is doing really good. And I was going to go back to Gypsy. But then I was in the steam room one day. This was like 6 months ago. I was just steaming. I was like, holy shit, I complain about Workies and House Call Pro every day. Every day. They don't even have a basic offline mode. I'm going in the Calabasas Mountains, Malibu Mountains, and then you can't even get your data on the app. And I'm like, I can't access the data. The app won't load because they don't even have a basic offline mode. So there is a larger move here. Junk removal is absolutely going to be this YouTube channel is going to be from a year from now, 6 months to a year when I have the beta. I'm going to push it to all my subscribers to get feedback for the first 6 months while I'm doing beta testing, and then I can actually launch. You know, I'm hoping to have a beta in 6 to 12 months. It just really depends. But yes, that is the long-term play, is to help you guys bring value. You know, of course, teach all my secrets that I'm learning, because I was able to get to $1 million in sales with only $1,000 in the beginning. Started with $1,000,
Yeah.
and I got to $1 million in sales this year.
Incredible.
And that's all from just Google ads. But the thing is I was able to scale that. I got really lucky. I ran Google ads myself for the first month and switched over, but we'll talk about that later. But yes, Jeff, you are correct. Junk removal is a long-term play. I've ultimately decided to go back to tech because home services, I feel I could probably confidently get this to a $5 to $10 million business. It then becomes launching new locations becomes it's a lot of work. There's a lot of liability. There's a lot of work. In order to grow this to a 1-800-GOT-JUNK size $1 billion, it is an incredible task in a different way than it is with tech. Tech, you build, then you scale. It's easy to scale tech and serve 100 million people with a click of a button. If you build a phenomenal product and you make it scalable, all you do is turn the lever on the ads. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all.
And have an onboarding team and a customer service, and that's
I'm
all
sure you've heard of seed rounds, Series A rounds, Series B, venture capital, right? When you get to Series A, Series B, Series C, they're only giving you that money so you can scale. Your products you've already found product market fit at that point. So getting to 100 million or $1 billion is way more likely with tech than it is this. So I'm using this to get me to 10 million so that I can self-fund my app. And then obviously I'm still going to go look for venture money. I'm still going to go look for angel money, but this is going to give me the flexibility to build the product I want. And I can even pitch it to Y Combinator. I don't know if you know who that is. Y Combinator is one of the I actually had an interview with them with Gypsy, and it's 1% chance, 2% chance of even landing an interview with them. So my goal is to go back to Y Combinator and be like, look what I've done. Look at this company that I built. I now have a problem that needs a solution. And I was in it for a year, grinding, using this garbage crap. Like, I will not lie though. Hey, no, Workies, House Call Pro, you guys are awesome. You're kicking it if you're here. I'm not shit talking. I'm just saying you guys don't even have an offline mode. Okay, come on. So, and I feel like their UI UI and UX is so important to me, and I think it makes a massive difference. And Apple has proven that with user interface and user experience. And I mean, you could just tell these guys did not take any UI UX lessons.
Gotcha.
So I just think there's a lot better that I can do in the home services industry. I have a lot of features I want to do, a lot of things I want to fix.
I love it. Let's jump into John's question while we're on the tech side of things. What are your thoughts on ChatGPT?
So there was an interview with Sam. I think what is his name? The owner. I think he's the CEO. Sam Alderman. I forget his exact name. Elon Musk and Sam. Sam is mostly the brains behind it. He did an interview 3 years ago. If you go find that interview, the lady says, "How are you going to monetize OpenAI? In the future?" His answer was, "I'm going to build this learning model." And we don't know yet, but what we're going to do, and I swear to God, this is in the interview. It's the craziest thing. He says, "I'm going to ask it how I can make money from it." And everybody laughed. But then when you try ChatGPT, I'm assuming you've tried it, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's insane.
Yeah.
My thoughts are it's definitely outside. I don't know much. I've never got into machine learning or AI yet. I haven't studied that. My programming is more apps.
Functional.
But I know the basics of machine learning and learning models and data models and all that stuff. It's mind blowing. I can't wrap my head around it. It's incredible. I use it every day. I used it to make a Shakespeare rap the other day, just to kind of like, just to
Have you
play.
paired it up with any of the voice? Because I
But
know you can make
oh
a
yeah, you can. I saw people on YouTube teaching you how to go take this Chat GPT, plug it into Cynthia,
yeah.
how you say it to do the transcripts, and then go use v.io to like make a video and then upload it to YouTube. But Chat GPT is incredible. I think it's AI is. I now actually think that seeing this makes me believe that AI has actually. I've always had my doubts with AI, especially Elon Musk's FSD full circle. But now I think anything's possible. I
Yeah.
mean, if they were able to achieve this, I mean, I'm going to use ChatGPT as a tool forever. I mean, I even said, hey, help me think of some junk removal TikTok ideas. And then it gave me a whole bunch of ideas. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, tons of different opportunities. I think, I mean, one of the guys in one of the chats, and he found some recipes and then got Chat GPT to literally tell him the exact list of ingredients out of it. Make a
Yeah, it's
shopping list.
incredible.
Like
It's definitely going to change the world.
yeah,
I think it's going to do a massive disruption in colleges. I don't think they're going to be able to take homework home anymore. They're going to probably make you do homework in the class now.
Chegg
Uh,
is a Chegg
yeah,
is maybe a thing of the past now.
yeah. So teachers are, but I think it's a great tool. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
So yeah,
I
I
love it.
use it. That's your answer, John.
I love it.
It's
Junk
not, oh,
guys,
junk guys.
I love it.
Oh,
And
Sacramento. So that's not.
Joseph's asking, what's your opinion on franchising junk removal with the current economic environment?
So
Is junk removal viable with a great
this
niche?
is something I've been going back and forth with for a long time, especially with me using the name Jedi. The most obvious thing is Disney going to sue me? I know I've questioned it. I've talked to an attorney. Long as I don't reference Star Wars and profit off Star Wars, which I would just have to take down all the Star Wars jokes I have, I would be fine. That was my biggest fear. Is if I franchise with the name Jedi. My son's name is Jedi, by the way, everybody. I named my son Jedi. His actual
I
name
love
is
it.
Jedi. So my biggest fear with franchising with the name was Disney noticing me. So I kind of wanted to stay small, but now I'm not too worried at all because I'm not going to do any Star Wars references. It's just Jedi, and it could be short for Jedediah. But I've been battling, going back and forth for the last 6 months if I'm going to franchise or keep everything internal and just stay within me. I decided to ultimately just stay with me and launch new locations in different states and possibly do licensing, a licensing model, which I would. I'm thinking about building a system and an app and teaching people how I do what I do. Basically, let's just say what JRA is doing, but in a more efficient way. I'm teetering on the idea of doing something similar to that down the road, like a licensing model. But for now, I've decided I'm going to expand in California as many locations as I can. Then I'm going to go to Colorado, open up a couple locations, and then I think I'm going to do Florida next. But I want to get to maybe like 10, 15 trucks total, and then really focus on my tech project. But my goal is by March is to get an operations manager to replace me so I can focus solely on tech.
I love it. I love it. That segues up to my next question that kind of came to mind as we're talking, because you've got a lot of stuff going on. You've got a lot of ideas. Sounds like the steam room is kind of your idea factory.
Yeah,
Talk
it
about
is.
that. Talk about that.
The steam room.
I'll talk about the ideas, how you do that, and then I want to get into like how do you delegate those ideas or make them happen.
So the steam room is my idea factory. I love this. I love the steam room. That's where I go to like relax and chill because I've got natural high energy. Just I don't do caffeine. I quit caffeine a year ago. Changed my life, by the way. I still drink coffee. By the way,
What did it
before I get
change?
into your question, let me give you guys a pro tip. Um, I feel like this tip would fix a lot of people's lives. If you guys have anxiety or ADHD, quit the caffeine. It'll change your life. Um, I had massive anxiety, and it was all the Starbucks I was drinking. They have this new process called Swiss water process. You can get tons of coffee on Amazon that has the Swiss water badge. Swiss water is a chemical-free 99% decaf, meaning most decaf still has 7 to 10% caffeine in it. So meaning you get a Venti at Starbucks decaf, you're still going to get 50 milligrams of caffeine. So sorry, side note tangent. That helped my idea factory.
I
But
love it.
yeah, I have a lot of ideas in the works. So when I have an idea, and I make a decision to do it, I mean, there's no complicated way. I just do it. If I say I'm going to do something and I like the idea, I do it, and I begin the delegation process fast. I got off the truck in 3 months. In 3 months. And the reason why I got off the truck in 3 months is I knew I wanted to get off the truck so I can grow the business. But I got off the truck, and most people ask me I've had a couple people on my YouTube channel ask me like a lot, like, how did you get off the truck? And the first thing they say is they're like, how did you trust them?
Yeah.
Like, how did you trust them with your truck? And the fact of the matter is, if you're scared, you're never getting off the fucking truck. You just need to grow the balls and get off the truck. You got to get insurance, try to employ the best person that you can, use your intuition. That's all you can do. You can also do, there's a clear check, which, you use for background checks and background reports and all that stuff. Do your basic employee testing. But you just got to get off the truck if you want off the truck. I mean, obviously make sure you got the volume coming in, but I just, there's no short answer. I just do it. I mean, there's no long answer. When I have an idea, I'm just like, I'm going to do this. And then I start doing it. I'm sorry I don't have a more elegant answer, but
No, I think I actually like that because
um,
oftentimes people think, oh, I've got to plan the whole thing out. Just go do it, like and make
yeah,
it happen.
yeah. And, I do kind of like when I have an idea, I'll go go into my notes and spit out some ideas and a plan of action. I definitely do, take notes and plan. Okay, so I haven't even planned. I already got the name for it though, the licensing model that I'm going to do, of whether it's consulting or licensing out what I'm doing, my systems. It's going to be called Junk Launch by Jedi.
I love it.
So
I
that's the
love it.
plan. Junk Launch. I'm sure you guys are. I'm sure you've heard of Alex Hormozy.
Yeah, gym launch.
Gym
Yeah,
Launch.
yeah.
I'm very much inspired by Alex Hormozy, and I like the idea of Gym Launch. He went around saving gyms, and I am starting a cleaning business so that I can prove that I can start multiple home services business. So it won't just be junk; it'll be junk. I like the name Junk Launch, but it's going to be, I'll help you do a cleaning business. I'll help you do a moving business. I'll help you do a junk business. I'll help you do a mobile detail business. Whatever home services type of business you want to do.
I love it.
But yeah, so that is something that's kind of in the works right now. I had a conversation with somebody the other day that kind of inspired me to go that direction, because I was actually planning on just teaching and educating and giving out all this information for free. But then I was like, fuck, the franchise alternative is what JRA says. And people keep asking me for my systems, how I set up my call center, how I hire from the Philippines and find good English speaking people without, that have not too thick of an accent, how everything's automated. Everything in my system's automated. I don't touch the phone from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. My phones are running like clockwork. My employees talk to my phone operators, dispatch. I don't do anything anymore except if a truck breaks down or somebody gets hurt. So I wanted to, so that's kind of what inspired like this YouTube. People are asking me, and I'm like, maybe I can. I don't want to do franchising. JRA talks about the franchise alternative. So I was like, maybe I could do something in between. So I'm still working on this idea.
That's
This
cool.
idea will be a few months down the road. But the app hit me also 6 months ago.
I love it. I love it. Josh, we'll get to your question. I want to stick on this idea here. Actually, I think my thought just disappeared. So we'll jump into Josh's question, and we'll come back to the thought that I just had. Josh says, 1 million in revenue is impressive. What was your ad spend, and what portion of your gross revenue came from Google Ads?
So Google Ads, I'd have to pull up the report, but I spent 250, I think 250 in Google Ads. I forget how much on Google Local Services. So this year was roughly 250,000. I didn't spend advertising much. I mean, there's some Thumbtack in the beginning, some Yelp, some Craigslist, but I mean that's minimal. About 250,000 was ad spend out of the million. And what was the second? And what portion of gross revenue? Hey, Josh, I do get a lot of repeat business, a lot of referrals, a lot of people who call, the decals on the truck, a lot of business cards, the flyers I started handing out. But I'll tell you, I would say 95% of the revenue is from Google Ads. straight Google ads.
That's cool.
I'm spending about $50,000. No, sorry. I spent $40,000 on ads in October, 32,000, so anywhere from 30 to 50,000 as of when I launched the second truck a few months ago. I'm getting ready to launch a third truck in January or March, doing the cleaning business first. But we just hit over 1 million just like a couple days ago this year.
Incredible.
And
That's incredible.
the margins are 30%. So about 300K. And that, just so you know, that 300K is prior to paying me. So, I paid myself as well. So the net profit of the company was like 150.
Yep.
But I get to claim a loss this year. So the company's claiming a loss because I had to buy all the trucks, all the equipment, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
Yep. I love it. Metatron Tech, appreciate you jumping in. I actually had Matt and Jojo on earlier this week. I don't know if you saw. So
I did see it.
Appreciate.
Wasn't it just like a couple days ago? I saw.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
I saw it.
Someone messaged me though, like, you're doing another podcast. I was like, yeah, I got to get everybody in the slow season because in the busy season, everybody's too busy. So,
right.
Jeff's jumping off. He's gonna send over some info that I can share with you, Andrew, after on the software side. Josh says, love that you delegate the phone call. It's super important when you realize that the missed calls, all the money that you're leaving there.
And the phone calls, so the first step was getting off the truck. The second step was getting off the phone. If you want to keep two crews, you want to keep crews completely busy all day, every day, 7 days a week, your phone's going to be blown up. So the second step was getting off the phones, because I was on the phone. I mean, we're talking a minimum of 30 calls to 70 calls a day.
Yeah.
And then as the phone operator, I'm also, pushing back when we're late, or customers are calling because they're upset that we're late, and then I got to call the crew. So it's not just taking in the incoming Google calls, it's also managing the crews. So I was not only managing and time delegating and pushing back customers, and where are you? Are you at the landfill? You at the dump? When are you going to get the next blah, blah, blah. So now my whole day was me on the phones. Especially when I launched the second truck, I was on the phones all day, every fucking day. I literally couldn't shower without a phone call coming in. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't eat a meal, couldn't enjoy dinner, because I was running my phones from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. And the reason why I did that is I told myself for the first year I'm running the phones 24/7 because I want all the business I could possibly get. I don't care if I have to suffer and I can't have a date. I went all in. So my second step was getting off the phone. So that was the best decision I made. Getting off the phone was awesome. It was an incredible feeling.
You felt like you got your life back.
I feel like I had my life back. The truck was easier than the phones. I'm getting exercise. I'm with the homie or the partner. We're like making jokes. I mean, it sucked at times. There's hard ass jobs that really beat the shit out of you. But the phones is miserable. You got customers mad because you're late. You got customers mad because you forgot an item. Not all the time, but shit happens. And but switching from an American phone operator, this was a very dangerous thing that I was scared to do, because LA, I was paying somebody in LA prices out here. It was expensive to pay this phone operator. So I was like, oh, I got to try the Filipino thing. And it was that cleaning course that I bought that inspired me. And I was like, this dude's about that cleaning course, that $1,000 cleaning course.
I saw that on YouTube.
Yeah. And it was super valuable course. And he said he did it. And I was like, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to try it, see if the bookings get worse, and if I lose money or if it goes well. But I had 250 submissions. I had them all send an audio recording of their voice. I listened to all 250 audio recordings, picked out the two best, and they're doing phenomenal. That's awesome. They're more grateful. They don't give me attitude. Yeah. My phone operator, I should have probably fired him earlier because he was kind of rude sometimes to me. I was like, why?
Maybe he just wanted to shower.
Yeah. Maybe. That's a funny joke, because there was a lot of times he'd be like, Andrew, I can't get my lunch in. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. I'll just do it earlier in the morning. But he was a great guy, though. Jokes aside, he was a great guy, but too expensive to pay LA prices. I even thought about hiring somebody in Wyoming to save a little bit of money, teaching them the geography of here. But I was like, fuck it. I'm going to try the Philippine thing.
Just go.
My lady is Filipino. She's awesome. And dude, they are so awesome to work with. They're appreciative. They're grateful. They're nice. and they're killing it. They're killing it. And I built a call center. So I actually hired 3. I wanted a backup phone person in case whenever it calls in sick. And then she's going to start actually helping me with some virtual operation stuff with my finances, my budgeting. She's going to send me a report at the end of the day, how much money I spent on ads, how much profit I made from each truck. I mean, they're going to run my life for me so that I can
dashboard,
slowly.
yeah.
So it's been an awesome decision doing the virtual assistants or
That's cool.
phone operators.
That's cool. Back to Alex Formosi. You've kind of taken the approach of just pulling back the curtains. Obviously, there's some things you don't take the camera into the. I think I heard Brad Lee say this. Camera follows him everywhere except for the bedroom and the bathroom. But you're letting us into your life, and into the back end of the systems, showing the good and the bad. What inspired you to do that?
So the initial thought was I wanted to start a YouTube to build a following and help people and build my brand. Yep. So it was selfless and selfish. I thought if I can get to Sonoma's level, that I can get more exposure through SEO, because I'm going to start putting up stuff like how to get rid of a hot tub and get more volume. And then, I thought maybe reach potential. If I could just grow on YouTube, I feel like there's more opportunity. When you're a YouTuber, it just other doors open. So part of me was just like, I really want to be a YouTuber and help people. And then more doors will also open. And then I started realizing the potential of education. Like there's actually now that I've actually built a successful business, I can actually make money from education and not feel guilty about it. There's scammers out there who will like sell a drop shipping course and they've never even made a fucking penny off drop shipping or Amazon FBA. They know how to do it, but they'll pretend that they made millions of dollars or they built $1 million business and they'll go sell a drop shipping course for 500. Yeah. And it's a scummy thing to do. But there's a lot of money in education. So I was like, shit, since I can actually teach this, how to build a home services business, people can make. I mean, it's. I don't want to use the word easy, but if you take the right steps, I'm actually going to be dropping a video soon how to start a junk removal business, but it's going to be more of just I'm try to vaguely more broad, like it covers cleaning and stuff. I'm going to literally go from A to Z. It's going to be a 5-hour long video of me building the website, setting up the ads, registering. I'm going to literally record my screen doing everything. It's what inspired me was when I first started this. Nobody was showing the behind the scenes. People were, I think, and I understand, people were scared. Nobody wants to show your dirty secrets. Did you see my SEO video?
I didn't look at your SEO video, actually.
Go check that one out. Yeah. So a lot of people, you'll be kind of mind blown. I don't know how, I know you do SEO and I don't know how skilled you are in it. I don't know what you know, but I've been doing SEO my entire life, right? I mean, I was back in the George Bush days when you typed in miserable failure and he would pop up as number 1 back in the 2000s.
Yeah.
I couldn't find pricing sheets. I mean, Sonoma Strong and Steve Conroy gave incredible advice, but it was more on the truck advice. It was more like the tangibles of being on the truck. Yeah. There was nothing in the background, like what happens, how do you hire people, and where do you post? What do you put in the ad? What kind of questions do you ask in the interview? What software do you use to take phone calls? How do you do call tracking? None of the technicals were there.
Yeah.
And it was so frustrating for me because I wanted to know all the technicals. I want to know how do I run the Google ads? What negative keywords do I put? Nobody's showing all this. And I get it. You got to learn yourself. But at the same time, there was no pricing sheet. And I get it because everybody's in different markets, but I would still like to see what you're charging. What are your extra fees? What software are you using? How are you using it? Why? Like nobody really talked about the technicalities of the back end of running a business, which is what I like. Is I like the structures and employee contracts. Like I would have loved to and I didn't have 15 grand to buy a JRA's business package. So I want to be the first YouTuber that shares all the fucking dirt, everything. And there was a part of me that says, what if I screw myself over? Because I'm showing all my secrets, all my resources, all my connections, all my plugs. Am I just fucking myself? But then I was like, you know what? Even if everybody takes this information, starts a junk removal business in Los Angeles, I was like, first of all, it's going to take them a year to get to where I'm at. I mean, if you can beat me, you're a badass. Like, because I move fast, right? I don't fuck around. But it's also going to bring more exposure to the junk removal industry. Um,
Yep.
so it's if they price like I price, it's going to raise the prices. So it's like, and it's just good karma. So it's like, I don't think me sharing all of my SEO secrets, the real secrets, yeah, not just the on-site SEO, change your header tags, change your title tags, change your image alt tags, if I share everything, I think it's only gonna benefit. So that was kind of like my reasoning of starting the YouTube channels, because nobody was sharing the behind the scenes, the technical stuff.
I
And that's
love
what I
it.
wanted to do.
I love it. I mean, I mean, that's what Hormozy does. Is he gives all the info away, and then
Yeah.
it parlays into ultimately he wants people to build businesses he can acquire, right?
What's up, guys? My name is Alex Mosey. I'm not here to sell you anything.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I have an $84 billion.
And by the way, I make $200 million a year.
Yeah, exactly,
100
exactly.
million, but now I think it's 250 or something.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool, and I agree. I think it's I think the more you can give out. I mean, you mentioned karma in there. I think it's incredible the amount that comes back, and then it also establishes you as an expert. I've had this conversation with several people lately,
Yeah.
because even if people jump in and do everything that you're doing, they probably don't want to do it all. They want you to just give them the Excel sheet. They want you to
Yeah.
just do that, right?
And like me, and you're right. Me giving these secrets away, it's still a lot of freaking work.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work. There's no way around it. Running Google ads was a nightmare for the first month for me. It's not easy. You're going to lose money. Period. I lost money the first month in Google ads. I lost money the second month. When I say lose money, it was because I had to buy. There was maintenance on trucks, and I had to pay for expenses, and was barely breaking even with Google ads in the beginning. The cost per conversion, and it's just very difficult in the beginning. So even with even with all the secrets, it still is a lot of work and dedication to make a successful anything. Anything
yeah,
you want to make tons of money in is going to take a lot of work.
yeah. Exactly, exactly. I love it. What would be some things that you want people to know about you? Because I know you've got the channel, you've got your Discord, you've got a few different things. Where should people find you? What should they be looking out for, and how can they support you?
Yeah, I mean, my name's Andrew, guys. If you're here, I don't know. Do we have any viewers? Is there any? I can't see
Yeah,
anything. Is there
we've had
viewers?
like a pretty steady 10.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. So
yeah.
right on. You guys can find me on YouTube at Andrew Jedi. YouTube now has handles. Instagram, I think Andrew Jedi as well, or Jedi Junk Removal. But I think my Instagram is Andrew Jedi Junk. My
I love it.
YouTube is Andrew Jedi. And yeah, so I guess what was your question besides where can you find me
How can
at?
they find you? How and work and what can they do to support you? Support the
Yeah,
mission.
so I guess for now, guys, my name is Andrew Thompson. I have nothing to sell you. Just check out my YouTube, follow along. I am going to be doing behind the scenes and be building the cleaning business, so it's very similar. Literally going to do the same steps. I'm gonna record all my employee interviews, hiring my employees, sending them out to customers' houses, the training. I'm going to do all that. It's going to be very similar to building a junk removal business. But yeah, just check my YouTube, and I I hope you guys stick with it and build a business, because I could then sell you my software in a year.
I love it.
So I'm gonna, as Gary Vee says, jab, 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 right hook. I don't know if you know
Yep,
what Gary Vee is saying, but you give, 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 then ask. So
exactly.
my intentions are to give on YouTube for a year, and then eventually, I mean, I might have my education course in the next 6 months or 3 months, but my plan is to just give value for a whole year, so that when I do drop my product, my app, that you guys test my app for the sake of me giving so much.
Yep,
That's my goal.
I love it. I think there's huge value in that. David jumped in here with Drunk MD. Awesome to see you.
Oh, is that David? I think
David
San
Lennox.
Diego Junk MD. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
I found your channel, David, and I saw your stuff too. I noticed you haven't posted in 3 years, and I was meaning to ask you why haven't you been posting. But awesome, man. I love San Diego. I've got two really good friends in San Diego. I'd love to connect. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent. I'll hit you
I
up or
love it.
something.
I love it. Junk guys, followed your SEO tips. And I think we missed John's question here. He said, what volume did you wait to come in until you got off the truck?
So I got off the truck. I think I was spending 200 a day in Google Ads, and it was keeping me and my one guy with me on the truck busy. I was getting enough jobs, and I made a very big mistake in the beginning, getting off the truck. I put one person on the truck by themselves, and he did. And most jobs were able to get done. So he was doing 3 jobs a day by himself, 4 jobs a day, and he'd call me when he needed a second guy, and I'd rush down there, and he would work on what he could until I got there. And I did one guy because I was paying $20 an hour. I didn't want to pay $40 an hour. But then long story short, make sure you have enough volume where you're busy every day, but do 2 guys. You'll knock out way more jobs way faster. One guy, it was too slow. But I got off the truck as soon as I was doing 3 jobs a day. I wanted off immediately, even if I was just profiting $50 a day after paying payroll, dump, gas, advertising, yada, yada, yada. I got off the truck as soon as possible. I will say this, though. There were times, obviously, for the next 3 months where I did have to get back on the truck a couple times. Either it was helping out, I had to fire somebody. There was a couple crazy times where I fired all 4 people working for me same day, and I got back on the truck, hired somebody off Craigslist gig section to help me for a couple days. And then, I actually got that employee from the gig section, and he took over. And then I got it. So yeah,
lots of learning experiences.
Lots of learning experiences. But short answer, John, is I made sure I had a full schedule. I was busy all the time, but I was spending probably $200, $300 a day on Google Ads, so I was pretty busy. As soon as you're busy, as soon as you're doing 3, 4 jobs a day, and if your average ticket is 400, my average ticket's 475. I took all my revenue divided by how many jobs. If your average ticket is high enough and you're doing 3 jobs a day, you can get off the truck.
Yeah, I love it. David's saying you'll have to meet up, and we're actually working on getting his. He's doing SEO with us, and we're getting him some more videos up on YouTube. So we'll rectify that. For him.
Yeah.
We've got a few good ones dropping. Joseph Martinez says, the more I listen, the more I realize there's much I need to learn. That's awesome. Joseph is a student of the game for sure.
Oh, that means a lot coming. Is that from Vets Hall? Is that Vets Hall Junk?
Vets Hall Junk, yeah.
Oh, wow. That means a lot coming from you. I love your videos. I watched a lot of your videos, especially his operations manual one. His video on operations manual one was one that inspired me to get my ops manual done. It's very bare bones. But yeah, thank you. Incredible,
guys. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I know I've got to jump off here. But Andrew, really, really appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you, dropping the stories, dropping the info. And guys, go check out his YouTube channel. He's got a lot of info there. He's pulling back the curtains. I think it's really cool what you're doing.
I appreciate it, Lewis. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. And thank you so much.
Awesome. So one more thing before we jump off here. Stick in the waiting room, Andrew, when we do end the live. But guys, if you haven't yet, check out the Blue Collar ABC book. It dropped on Amazon last week, and go snag a copy.
I will snag a copy. Actually, I think I posted about that. I was meaning to ask you what that is, but I can ask. Or actually, if you just
let's ask you now.
Yeah. I saw. I was so busy, but I saw you. It looks like it's a children's book.
Yeah, it's a children's ABC book. Focused around the trades basically. So it's got like a trade, a vehicle, a tool on each page relative to each letter. Yeah,
I have a 2.5-year-old almost. He's almost 2.5. So I'll pick it up to support you.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, our 3-year-old was instrumental in picking the tools and trucks on it. So
nice. And my son is obsessed with trucks. We have dump trucks, garbage trucks. He even calls them like trash truck. He's watching Trash Truck on Netflix. So cute. But yeah, okay, cool. So I'm definitely gonna pick that up. Awesome.
I love it. I appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it. And everybody else, you can just find it on Amazon. So guys, with that, Andrew, great interview. Really appreciate having you on. And I'll drop the link for your channel in here as well.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Cheers, guys.